In the land of Canaan, long ago, Isaac, the son of Abraham, prayed for his barren wife Rebekah. The Lord answered, and within her womb 2 nations stirred, twins already at war before their first breath. The firstborn came forth red and covered in hair, and they named him Esau.
Look how they hold each other.
Close behind,
So close
gripping his
from the
brother's
beginning.
heel, came Jacob, the supplanter, the one who would not be left behind. Esau grew into a cunning hunter, a man of the open field, beloved of his father. But Jacob was quiet, a dweller in tents, and his mother Rebekah loved him best. One day Esau returned from the wilderness faint with hunger. Jacob stood stirring a pot of red lentil stew, and a quiet plan kindled in his eyes. "Sell me your birthright," Jacob whispered, "and the bowl is yours." And Esau, despising what he could not taste, swore the oath and ate. For a single meal, the inheritance of nations changed hands. Years passed, and Isaac grew old and blind. He called for Esau to bless him as firstborn, but Rebekah heard, and she moved swiftly in the shadows. She wrapped Jacob's smooth arms in goatskin and dressed him in his brother's garments. Trembling, Jacob entered his father's tent, bearing savory meat and a lie upon his tongue. "The voice is Jacob's voice," the old man murmured, "but the hands are the hands of Esau." And Isaac laid his hands upon him and poured out the blessing meant for another. When Esau returned and learned the truth, he cried out with a great and bitter cry. Hatred burned in his heart, and he vowed that Jacob would die by his hand. So Jacob fled, alone into the wilderness, with nothing but a staff and the weight of what he had stolen. The sun set behind the hills of Canaan, and the stars rose over a fugitive. At a lonely place called Luz, Jacob lay down upon the bare earth, a stone for his pillow, the wide desert sky his only roof. And as he slept, he dreamed. A great ladder rose from the dust where he lay, climbing through the clouds, its top lost in the radiance of heaven. Upon it the angels of God ascended and descended, shining messengers moving between earth and the throne above. And at the summit stood the Lord himself. "I am the God of Abraham and the God of Isaac," came the voice. "The land where you lie I will give to you and to your seed. In you shall all the families of the earth be blessed." Jacob awoke trembling. "Surely the Lord is in this place, and I knew it not." He took the stone, anointed it with oil, and called the place Bethel, the house of God. He journeyed on into the east to the household of his uncle Laban. There, by a well, he saw Rachel, a shepherdess of striking beauty, and his heart was bound to her in that very hour. 7 years he labored for her hand, and they seemed to him but a few days, so deep was his love. But on the wedding night, Laban deceived him, veiling Leah, the elder sister, in Rachel's place. Outraged, yet bound, Jacob labored 7 years more for the woman he truly loved. And so he took 2 sisters as wives, and with them their 2 handmaids, Bilhah and Zilpah. The Lord opened Leah's womb, and she bore Reuben, Simeon, Levi, and Judah. Rachel, barren and weeping, gave her maid Bilhah, who bore Dan and Naphtali. Then Leah's maid Zilpah bore Gad and Asher. Leah herself bore Issachar and Zebulun, and a daughter, Dinah. At last the Lord remembered Rachel, and she bore a son, Joseph, beloved above them all. After 20 long years, Jacob gathered his wives, his children, and his flocks, and turned his face homeward toward Canaan, and toward the brother he had wronged. On the eve of meeting Esau, Jacob sent his family across the river Jabbok and remained alone upon the dark shore. There, in the silence, a stranger came out of the night. They wrestled, man against man, flesh against flesh, through the long hours until the breaking of the dawn. Jacob would not yield, though the stranger touched his hip and lamed him with a single touch. "Let me go, for the day breaks," the stranger said. But Jacob clung to him. "I will not let you go unless you bless me." And the stranger said, "Your name shall no longer be Jacob, but Israel, for you have wrestled with God and with men, and have prevailed." The sun rose upon him as he limped across the river, a new man with a new name. He had seen the face of God and lived. He met Esau, and the brothers wept and embraced, and the old hatred fell away like ash in the wind. And Jacob came at last in peace to the land of his fathers. Later, in sorrow, Rachel died, bringing forth a final son, Benjamin, child of his right hand. 12 sons in all stood around the tents of Israel: Reuben, Simeon, Levi, Judah, Dan, Naphtali, Gad, Asher, Issachar, Zebulun, Joseph, and Benjamin. 12 names, 12 fathers, 12 tribes. From these 12 sons would rise the nation of Israel, kings and prophets, priests and shepherds, and at last, in the fullness of time, the Messiah himself. From a fugitive with a stone for a pillow, God built a people, and through them blessed the world.